What is the truth about cervical checks in labor and birth? Cervical checks are a standard of practice in most hospital births, but here's the thing. This routine procedure isn't as evidence-based as many believe. In fact, it has several shortcomings that can disrupt the normal physiological process of birth. So let's break it down in this video. Hi everyone, welcome back to Her Sacred Cradle, where we explore all things related to empowered birth experiences, motherhood, and holistic wellness. So today we're diving into a topic that doesn't get enough critical attention, and that is cervical checks during labor and birth. First, let's talk about what cervical checks are. These checks are done to measure how dilated a cervix is, essentially, and how far along a mother is in labor. They're often used to determine whether labor is progressing according to a set timeline. And I talked about the Friedman curve and the Zhang curve. I'll try to link the video here. But here's the problem. They're not evidence-based. Research shows that cervical dilation doesn't reliably predict how much longer labor will last or how labor will unfold. Every woman's body, every labor, every baby is so unique. So trying to fit them into a rigid timeline does more harm than good. They're highly inaccurate. The measurement of cervical dilation is subjective. What one provider may call 4 centimeters, another may measure as 5 centimeters. And so this inconsistency makes it an unreliable indicator of progress. Cervical checks are not only imprecise, but they also pose risks to disrupt labor and birth. They slow labor down because labor is such a delicate process, a hormonal dance. The release of oxytocin, the hormone responsible for contractions, is crucial for labor's progression. And so when a mother is poked and prodded or made to feel stressed or uncomfortable, the body may slow or even stall labor as a protective response. Cervical checks increase the risk of infection. Each time the cervix is checked, particularly after the amniotic sac has ruptured, there's an increased risk of introducing bacteria, which can lead to infections for both the mother and baby. And cervical checks are emotionally disruptive. Imagine being in the middle of a deeply personal, transformative experience, and someone is disrupting it with a procedure that may feel invasive or just hands down unnecessary. This can take a mother out of her flow and make her feel self-conscious or anxious, both of which can hinder labor and birth. So instead of relying on cervical checks, we need to reframe how we think about labor and the progress of labor and birth, because birth does not follow a set timeline. It's a natural physiological process that requires patience, trust, and the right environment, along with an aligned birth team. So what truly supports labor's progression? Well, the mother needs to feel safe and undisturbed. She needs dim lighting to support the release of oxytocin. She needs encouraging words and emotional support. She also needs the freedom of movement to help the baby descend down into the birth canal. She needs access to food and hydration to sustain energy. And she needs gentle touch or even a massage just to provide that comfort. Labor is not linear. It's not a linear process, and it doesn't need to be constantly micromanaged. It does not need to be managed at all. It unfolds when a mother feels supported and respected. So what can you do? Ask questions. If a cervical check is suggested, ask why is it being done and how will it inform your care. Number 2, set boundaries. If cervical checks make you uncomfortable, like triggering past traumas, know that you have the right to decline them. Number 3, trust your body. Your body and your baby knows what to do. Create that environment that honors this process. And to wrap it up, I want to leave you with this. Birth is not a clock to be managed. It's a sacred process that deserves trust, respect, and the right care. So questioning routine practices like cervical checks is a step toward reclaiming the birth experience you and your baby deserve. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others who may benefit from this type of information, and don't forget to subscribe to more insights on empowered birth experiences and holistic wellness. So thank you so much for watching, and remember, your body, your baby, your birth. Trust the process.